fun when New Year starts. And especially when you have no seniors, it's a young team. Miles, your old man on the team, and does he understand that he's going to have to take a little bit of a leadership role with some of these younger guys?
Yep, he and I have had a couple conversations. And he's taken it on because he's one that he got a little down on himself a little bit last year, but he had 6 seniors to pull him up, and this year he knows, and he's been good at it, is that he can't be the one who comes down, because if he comes down, everybody comes down. And he knows that, and he's been very good this season. He's been encouraging, he's been moving his feet, and when he hasn't had a good day at practice hitting the ball, he hasn't let that frustration show, and he hasn't got into a funk, which shows that he is really cognizant that he is the leader, he is the number one, everybody follows him, and he's been great at it. So I've been very, very impressed and proud of Miles.
How's your JV and your younger kids? Good numbers in that group?
You know what? After losing 6, I was afraid we were going to fall into 20, but we're sitting at 21, which is a good number. And looking at it, we don't have any seniors, and we have a great 6th grade crew that's coming up, and also a great 5th grade crew. And we do have a couple more juniors. We got Tyler Cota and then Rafael Rivera are 2 more juniors. So we do have 3. So after they graduate, but we're gonna have some great 6th grade and 5th grade numbers. So I feel our program is going to be sitting at about 24, 25, 26 here coming up. So that's about where we want to be for the boys, is that if we could hit 24 for the boys, we're always happy, and girls, if we can be over 30, that's where we like to be.
Yeah, I think Gray Kosowski, Beck Dietrich, these are some of the 6th graders. Sakura, I think, you got a lot of good 6th graders that played a lot of summer tennis, too, around their baseball.
And a lot around their baseball, and they also went to tournaments, too. It was pretty fun. I took my kids out to Bismarck, and lo and behold, there was 5 Valley City boys playing in the 12 and under division, and what was really sweet about that, it was all their first tournaments. They all got a victory.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy goodness, that should just feed them to be like, man, tennis is a lot of fun, and I'm actually pretty good. I went to a tournament and got a win, and it wasn't against each other. They beat kids from other towns, so it was pretty fun to see a lot of youth in tennis coming up.
All right, well, it's just getting things started here, and obviously we'll talk throughout the season how this team progresses. It'll be exciting to see how a young team progresses from that first match, from the quad, until the end of the season. I'll be interested to see where they're sitting when you get to that EDC at the end of the year.
It'll be a lot of fun, and we can't control it on wins or losses. We got to just control what we can control, because we want to make sure we're the best we can be at that EDC time, and that's the goal.
All right. Well, Coach, appreciate it, and look forward to another great fall of Highlander tennis here in Valley City.
Thanks,
and get you those new courts doing.
Yes.
Get those new courts going. That is Matt Nielsen, the head tennis coach from Valley City. We'll be back with more of Coach's Corner coming up here from the Highlander Activity Network. I was trying to understand. Back on the Highlander Activity Network, Coach's Corner here, and continuing our tennis conversation. We just had Breck Sepakul and Abby Martinick, state champs last year in doubles, and Coach Matt Nielsen joining us. And again, Coach, just having a state champion, first time in 33 years at Valley City tennis, boys or girls. A state champion.
Yeah, bingo. It was huge for Valley City Tennis to have that state championship individuals. It haven't happened since like 1991 or 90 with Susan Kringley and Brenda Ament back in the day. We've had some opportunities since then. We have some great players that has come through. We've had a Reagan Inkstead, a Clarissa Olson, and actually you could go back and look at like an Emily Knodel. Like, we've had a lot of fabulous tennis players, and the ones that were so close to winning that state title. In fact, we were one set away at one point to winning a state title and never closed the door. But this crew of Abby Martinick and Breck Sepakul, juniors for us, so we're going to get them back next year. But they decided to play some doubles together, and they got in the EDC tournament, played some good tennis there, and they actually dropped a set against Red River and had to come back to win that match, and then they propelled them to the EDC crown. And then at state tournament, they were the number 1 seed. They rolled through the first round, and in the second round, they ran into the other Valley City team of Georgia Zahn and Kaylee Nielsen. And in the second set, they actually had a set point against them, which they saved, and they ended up winning that in 2 sets. And that proved to be actually the toughest set of the entire tournament, because when the semifinals came around, they were determined. They were attacking. They were confident. They were moving towards the net. They were taking overheads at the service line. Like, they were playing confident, aggressive tennis, and they never even let the door even slide open at all in either match. Like, they were in control the entire semifinal championship, and they didn't cruise to the championship. They went out and won the championship. Mm-hmm. They put the pressure on them. They kept attacking. They kept moving forward. They never let up. They never been like, oh, we're going to win the championship. And they, some people do that where they slide. No, they were like, we're winning this next point. We're winning this next point. And they just went out there and accomplished the mission.
And even though we haven't had state champions, doubles tennis in Valley City, especially on the girls' side, is kind of statewide known that we produce some pretty good doubles teams.
I think we've been the best doubles team for the girls in the state for some time now. And everybody looks to us of what we do. And I've talked to Oliver Summers at Fargo and asked him, I go, what do you see? And he said, Matt, you know what? I think you do a great job out there. And he goes, because doubles is what you can really work on during the season. I mean, if you're going to really change a forehand, it's muscle memory. It takes 10,000 shots to fix something. So, I mean, if you're working a forehand season, it's not going to be something that's going to be perfected by the end of the season. That's what you got to do out of season. But in season, you can work attacking the net in doubles. You can work communication with your partner. You can work what is your strategy? How are we winning points in doubles? So those are the things you can work on in practice and then execute. And Oliver Summers said, you know what, Valley City doubles, like you only graduate 85 a year, but yet we have people in the we have all-staters all the time in doubles. We've had 3 EDC champions now in doubles. We've had 5 teams in the state championship match, one that won it. So I mean, over the last 15 years, like we've been the top of the state in the doubles arena for the girls.
And what does it say for someone like Breck who goes to state with different partners? It's not not the same partners. Olivia last year, now this year, she had Abby. What does that say about her and just how good she is, that she can make that other person good too?
Yep, she can play with anybody. And if you looked at our team state tournament, our strength was we had a middle singles that were great. Kaylee Nielsen, Georgia Zahn, very, very, very amazing. And then Breck was awesome in doubles. So what we did is we had it so that way we went Martinick at 1 singles, then Kaylee at 2, and Georgia at 3. And we're thinking Kaylee and Georgia should win. Mm-hmm. Abby might win, but we also should get a win at 1 doubles with Breck. And we actually put Breck with 3 different partners on the team day, and she won with all of them. So she's one that she just lifts up the other person. Everybody who plays with Breck plays better when they're with Breck, and she just goes for it and moves you up and showing how great of a leader she is.
Well, it will be fun to see what happens when we get into this spring with that team. With everybody back again, we'll see what happens with the girls' team coming up here this spring. Boys tennis is next. You already shut me off? And back here on Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network. And as I mentioned earlier, we talk to coaches, and yes, we talk athletics, and we talk activities here on Coach's Corner. Next up is Student Congress, and Madison Yoder joining us, coach of the Highliner Student Congress team. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, your first year as coach for Student Congress?
My first year as head coach.
As head coach.
Yeah.
But you've been around the program.
Yep.
And really, you look at Student Congress, is it kind of a precursor getting kids ready for speech?
Some people treat it that way, but it really is its own thing. Speech doesn't have any of those debate aspects that Student Congress has, so it really is its own beast, but some of our students are really just prepping their skills for speech season, so I'd say about half our team treats it that way.
When do you've been going for a while, haven't you? We're getting ready for the season now, practices?
Our practices started this week, actually,
Okay.
on Monday.
So you did get started. When's your first meet?
Our first meet is September 25th.
So you got some time
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
ready. And people see the banners in the hack on the speech, the 6 straight state championships for the Highlander speech team. But Student Congress has done pretty well too over the years. And what do you look at numbers? Maybe 12, 15 kids?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get this year. Some of my kids have been doing amazing recruiting efforts. They've been going into all the classrooms, and I'm really grateful for them. It's definitely a smaller activity than speeches, but I'm hoping for that 15-ish number.
Get to that 15.
Yeah.
Who are some of the kids that we can look forward to that could have a good year? I think Abby Redfern is a pretty good in Student Congress, but who are some of the kids that you would tell us are kids to watch?
Yeah, definitely watch out for Carter Haas. He competed at Nationals this last summer, so he's coming out kicking in the Senate this year, which is the highest competition house. And, we've got Aiden McPartland is a senior this year. They've been in it for several years now. And Abby Wilmus is coming in guns a-blazing, so I think we're going to have a good season with them.
Kind of describe for us, Madison, what Student Congress is. If people don't know what it is and what it entails, what is it like?
Yeah, so Student Congress is a type of debate. So it follows congressional-style debate. And in North Dakota, we have it split into 7 different houses or categories.
Sure.
And the highest would be Senate, and those will mostly be seniors and juniors. In our case, Carter will be competing in the Senate as he's been to nationals, so he's about at their level.
Yep.
And then in House 1, going down to House 6, it goes down in grade level, but they're all debating serious legislation, and they're all doing really good and good ideas, great debate going on.
Do they have to write legislation too?
They at the state level, each team can submit, I don't remember how many, but we can each submit a certain amount of legislation, and then they get voted on for next year's debate. So I have each of our kids write a piece of legislation so that they can, it's like a ticket to the state team, basically.
Okay. and you're competing against statewide. I mean, it's not just, you got all the schools, B, A. I mean, you're competing with a lot of different schools.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
And bigger schools, the Fargo and the Bismarck. And what is it about the Highlanders? You just seem to find those kids in Student Congress and speech that are phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that every school has the opportunity to have the community that we have, but because of the amazing coaching staff we've had in the past, the amazing students here, it just word of mouth passes through, and we've been able to have an amazing program year after year.
Nick Lee for several years, Abby Inkstead the last couple of years, and now Madison Clabo, and she's going to be kind of she'll be working with the speech mostly, and but you came through the program, so you guys kind of know what happens here, and what does it feel like now getting a chance to coach this?
Oh, I'm so excited. I did a speech and debate in high school myself, so it's great to be around the program, and I am going to be student teaching in the spring here, so I hope to keep coaching while I'm in my teaching career, and I just love it.
What do you teach?
I'm in math education.
Oh, you're going to be a math teacher.
Yes.
Oh, boy. So 2 + 2 is always going to be 5. Anyway, so you get September 25th. You said that is going to be your first debate. Do you guys set goals when you kind of get together as the season goes along? You talk about all the athletic teams, but how about with Student Congress? Do you kind of set some goals?
Yeah, we do. I'm actually going to be working on making individual goals with the students because it is a team competition, but it's really individual how they compete. And it looks different for every student. Some of them, successful season is getting up and speaking once, and I'm behind that. Anything is growth, and communication with whatever they see as a goal for themselves.
How, too, does doing something like this, getting up in front of people, talking, doing a speech, whether it's a debate or a speech, just get them ready for adulthood, if you will?
Gosh, our speech merchandise last year said, "What we do for fun, people fear," or something like that.
Right.
And, I think getting them to do it when they're young, it helps break that barrier, and it helps make those, meetings or interpersonal relationships you'll have in college seem so much smaller than they actually, it makes that communication flow easier.
And if you were in a shell and an introvert, you better become an extrovert in a hurry.
Yeah, or at least you can fake it till you make it.
There you go. Because I know Madison has sat on this show and said, hey, when she started as a 7th grader, she never thought of that. But now, look, you look at her now, it's like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
And, of course, a lot of them do theater as well, and it probably preps them for that, too.
Yeah.
Exciting time, though, getting a new year started with a new group, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm excited. We're just getting started, and it's just going to get better and better.
Oh, right. Well, Madison, we do appreciate you joining us and look forward to chatting with you and Maddie Clabo as we progress throughout the year. And this is Student Congress goes right into speech, doesn't it?
Yeah. Speech, our first meet is normally here at Valley City, but we'll see how it lands, and it's right away in January.
Yeah,
so.
Right after the break, the Christmas break
yeah,
is when you get it. All right. Well, again, Madison, congratulations on getting things started and as the head coach now of the Highlander Student Congress.
Thank you so much.
You bet. That is Madison Yoder joining us. We'll be back with more of our Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network. And back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and we are now into cross country. Actually, got my cross country shirt on, my Bill Jansen shirt's on underneath here, so I knew I had to impress you here tonight. Coach Deb Bilkey and Reagan Berg joining us here from the Highlander cross country team. And Coach, we'll start with Coach Bilkey here in a minute, but I want to talk with Reagan. At the Originals Invitational in Jamestown, you're at Parkhurst, where I think the state tournament is every single year. Came in first in 5K. How did you feel you ran a good race?
Yes, I did. I felt very strong, and I felt very strong. I felt like I was progressing every mile.
Is it different when you run all summer, so you're not like, oh, I gotta get in shape for this. I think you and Greta probably went for a run when we were in Wapaton at the Cal Ripken State Tournament.
We did, yes, we did.
You were stretching. I'm like, are you guys gonna go for a run? Yeah, we are. But when you get into that, now that the season's here and the competition's here, do you go a different gear, pardon the expression, or do you keep the way you've always done things?
Like transitioning from summer to... I change it for summer. For me, it's mostly longer, easier base running to make sure I have my endurance. And then once season starts, it's up to Belky what we do. So we end up doing faster stuff to get the strength in. Yeah.
I think, Deb, you've said in the past, too, with some of your runners, you had to tell them, hey, Pat, slow down a little bit. Do you have to do that with some of these runners?
Not really, because in the past, I've had these kids for 6 years. And I think they believe that there are times that we have to pull back, and sometimes, more is not always good. Okay? And so there's certain times we have to pull back a little bit, and some of my more experienced runners understand that, and they kind of know the whole system as we've gone through, because you can't go hard and hard and hard every day. Sooner or later, you have to back up and let your body rest and recover a little bit. And so we kind of vary it. We don't do the same thing every day.
Well, the Coaches Bowl, the new one that just came out, I think today, the new Coaches Bowl came up, and Reagan is number 1 in the individuals, and Greta Govan at number 10. Do you look at this or not?
I do look at that, yeah.
You good. Okay, good. I want good honesty. Good. So now, does this give you a little incentive when you get ready for meets now, or the next meet? Hey, the target's going to be on my back.
Yeah, my dad actually just said that right before I got here. That's funny you say that. It's a goal to keep going, and I guess it's kind of like a credibility thing. Like, people are noticing that I'm progressing, and I want to keep being noticed that I'm being that I'm progressing.
And you don't want to just do it on a piece of paper.
Yes,
I
want
to do it on the course.
On the course, yes.
On the course. And Deb, with you, for you as a coach with these young ladies, and Corbin Golomov, I think took 37th in the boys. We'll talk boys here in a minute. But how easy is it for you as a coach when you have these athletes that are so driven and so good at what they do?
It makes my job a lot easier. Like I said, I've been around them for 6 years, and I also coach them in track too. But it's kind of fun to see when we start a practice. Sometimes they look at me like, "Are you crazy? We're really going to do that?" And then by the time they're done, they go through it all, and they're so willing to at least try and work. If they're not feeling good, they're honest about it, which you have to be. And like the poll is great. It's a great way that at least they're getting some recognition for every bit of work that they've done over the past 6 years. Because when Reagan was a 7th grader, I could run with her. I could keep up with her.
Yeah. Now?
I ride a bike. That's the only way I can keep up with her. But
ride bike.
It is nice for these kids to get that recognition that they're getting.
And we talked about Reagan and Greta, but Cadence Fetch, I think, had a good race too as well. How about overall on the girls' side? What do you see as this team and some of the athletes on the girls' side?
This year we're a little short on runners, but Cadence Fetch ended up 30th out of 140. And those were the only 3 varsity girls that we had there on Saturday. That's why you don't see a team score. They just didn't give us one. But we're headed to Wahpeton on Friday, and then we'll take Bryn Leak. She's got moved up to as a varsity setter, and so we will take her when we can get her. And then Trisha Fenning will be our 5th one. And so at least we can come up with a team score. The rest of them right now, they're ready for the 4 and the 3K. So we have to rely on these 5 girls. And that's what gets a little bit challenging being Class A is the pure depth that we have. But the quality we have, I guess I could never complain about that.
Sometimes it's not so much quantity, it is quality.
Right.
And yes, you'd like to have numbers, but you've got good athletes in your numbers. Talking about goals, Reagan, do you have anything in mind? Have you set any goals of what Regenburg wants to accomplish this year?
Yes. I want to, well, it would be nice to win. I think top 2 at state and top 2 at EDC is what I want to do, and lower my time.
And do you maybe do that each meet? Is that how you figure by the time you get to Parkhurst? I'm assuming it's going to be in Jamestown again, the state. You've improved and take a little bit of time off as the year progresses?
Yeah, I would like that to happen. It's kind of, in cross country, it's a little bit unrealistic to say that you're going to take off 5 seconds every time you run because every course is different and it's going to be hot or it's going to be windy and you kind of just have to deal with it. But I think getting my time down by 20 or 30 seconds would be great. That's going to be my goal.
Attainable? Do you think these young ladies, when they set goals, that they can attain those goals?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And like Reagan said, too, every course, like when we go Friday, it is going to be on a plush golf course.
Okay. Yep.
On Saturday, last Saturday, it was in a park where the ground is harder. So, every course is totally different. And so we always look at, their overall performance, what they look like when they're running, who they're competing against, how everybody else did against them, and so forth.
Do you prefer hilly courses or flat courses?
I kind of just take whatever, I guess. Because I like flat courses. It's nice not having a hill to run up. But I also feel like living in Valley City, we kind of have a little bit of an advantage when we have hilly courses, because I don't think a lot of other places have hills to train on. So,
yeah, and those courses aren't going to have steep hills. They'll have gradual hills.
Jamestown has a pretty steep one.
Okay. She says that with a laugh. Jamestown does have a steep one.
But we always count how many we can pass on the way up. That's our goal, is to see, because we do train on hills, a lot of hills. And so it's kind of fun as a challenge once you get to that 2.5 miles, is to see if you can at least catch one person up that hill.
That's kind of the way out when I'm driving in a semi. I know I can catch a semi on a hill. How about on the boys' side? We talked about Corbin. He was 37th here at Parkhurst. How about the numbers on the boys' side?
Right now, 7 through 12, we do only have 8 athletes out. We had we graduated a big class last year. We had 9 seniors graduate, and then 2 that didn't come out for other reasons, and 1 that moved away. So we took a big hit with our senior class. But Corbin is our leader. He was 37th out of 162. I have to use my cheat sheet here. He ran a really good race, a smart race. He's matured into that role. He's a senior. And then we have our next one is Trevor Fetch is our junior, and he's run for several years. But his big goal is to play baseball in the summer. And so it takes him a while to get in shape, and he'll be the first one to admit it. But he's a baseball player. And then so he'll get in shape. And then our other 2 that we had were freshman boys, which it's huge as a freshman boy to run against senior boys. The maturity, their bodies are maturing and stuff like that. But it's Jack Sorby and Elijah Drummond. Yeah. And then we're going to round it out on Friday with another runner. So we have 5 runners. And so we're going to put Simon Trapp, our 7th grader. Hopefully it's not windy because he's not a very big kid. he's going to get blown all over the place. But he's excited about it. He's run... I think last spring he won the Fargo Mile for the youth. He's run a lot of like Fargo Marathon, like the 5Ks and stuff. So he's comfortable with that. He's excited about it. But yeah, it's a whole different world between a 7th grade boy and a senior boy. But he's up for the challenge. We'll get a team score for him. So that'll be good.
Excitement, though, once the new season's here. Deb, I'll start with you as a coach with this question. Just they're excited to ready get the season going and just see what you have.
Absolutely. It's exciting once you get to that first race. We have one girl that asked me the first day if anybody really enjoys running. And then I said, well, my goal for this year is to make you enjoy it. And by the time she was done with the race on Saturday, I said, you kind of like it, don't you? And she said, yeah. And so that's the biggest goal, you know. Not everybody's going to be that. I mean, only one person wins the race.
Right.
You know, and so it's that lifelong enjoyment of running. Whether you're on the 3K, you're the last one on the 4K, it does not matter as long as you get past that finish line.
How about you, Reagan? Excited to get this season going and see what you can do?
Yes, I'm very excited. After this past meet, when I finished the race, I was like, oh, I can't wait for the next one. I'm very excited.
And as a senior, lone senior, I believe, on the girls' side,
yes.
You feel a little leadership responsibility. I mean, you and Greta and even Cadence, I mean, because they've been around a while, but you kind of feel you need to take some of the younger runners under your wing?
Yeah, definitely. When I was in 7th grade, all the older girls were really nice to me, and I feel like that's kind of an important part of cross country, and especially a sport where 7 through 12 are all practicing together. I think that's really important for the 7th graders to actually enjoy it.
Especially if they've never run a certain course, you can tell them what to expect, and here's at this marker or this marker, and it's that experience. And the coach does too, but having the athletes, Deb, that can help with that coaching aspect of it has to make things easier for you.
Absolutely. We have 6 new 7th graders, and I think up until the meet on Saturday, they didn't realize the quality of athletes we had at the top because it's just Reagan and Greta.
Yep.
They didn't realize that those 2 were going to cross the finish line in the top 10, Yep. And so when the race finished and I said, see what you guys are working with? And they go, no, I didn't realize that. I said, those are your top athletes in the state, and you're fortunate that they are, And so that's how they all really meld together, and it's fun to see. As soon as like Reagan and Greta were taken care of as little 7th graders, and now they're the ones that are the captains taking care of other kids.
And you could say do what they do, but runners are different. They have different running styles. They have a different way of doing things, so you can't say just do what they do.
Oh.
And is that a true statement?
Right, and I tell the athletes that too. It's going to take you a year to figure out what you can do because there's no cookie cutter. You'll never race like I do, and you'll never race like so-and-so. You might have to start a little slower, pick it up, and different things like that. Everyone's so individual that they have to learn from every race and build on that. Mm-hmm. So if their stomach hurts, then don't eat that food the next time. Eat something else. So, it's kind of a learning game for quite some time.
So at the Bois de Sioux this weekend at the golf course, is it just the Wahpeton side, or do you have to go into Minnesota?
It's just, we're in Breckenridge.
In Breckenridge?
In Breckenridge, yeah.
Okay.
We stay on that side. I think they want to golf on the other side. That's why.
Oh, come on. They can golf anytime.
Yeah.
Let us have the course for this day. All right. Well, again, appreciate you stopping by. Bill Jansen, usually you're the big meet that they have out of Bjornsson. Do you have one? We're going to have that coming up?
Yep, that'll be the 23rd,
Okay.
Saturday the 23rd.
Homecoming weekend.
Yeah, it'll be a wild week. So, yeah, we might as well finish it up with the cross-country meet on Saturday, and then they can hurry up and get ready for the dance at night.
Perfect. just go sweaty. You don't have to get dressed up for your dance. Nah, just go like that. Oh, well, we'll be that again September 23rd. We'll be talking about that, the Bill Jansen meet here in Valley City. Reaganberg, Deb Bilkey from Valley City Cross Country. Thanks, ladies, and we look forward to talking to you throughout the year.
Thank you.
You bet. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highliner Activity Network. I'm ready when you are, bud. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network, and moving into the football, the Highlanders got one game under their belt as they played Turtle Mountain Community High School over in Rowlett, and won that one 40-0 on Friday night. Carter Borg, head coach Travis Engen joining us. And, Coach, I'll start with you first off. 3-hour drive.
Yeah, almost
Not for
4.
you, but a bus ride of 3 hours.
At least, yeah. It was a long drive, hot, but the players responded. We talked about it the previous week of let's make sure that we're mentally ready, have some fun on the bus, but we got a job to do up there. And they responded. They did a great job.
Well, it's good to get that long one out of the way first.
Yes.
the long trip. Get that out of the way first. And you weren't playing on their field. You had to move it because I think they're getting a turf field and it wasn't quite ready yet. But when that kickoff went and responded, a 40-0 win, defense again seemed to play solid as usual.
Yep, they did. They showed up. Our defense is they do a nice job of attacking, being aggressive, staying home, playing within our gap defense. And so they did. They didn't allow that Turtle Mountain team to attack or do anything. So it was a nice job by all 11 guys.
And got some turnovers that set up short fields. I think the first snap in your own territory was the first snap of the second half.
Yeah, I think so. After the kickoff, yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's nice having short fields. It really is. And so hats off to our defense of getting the 3 and outs and the turnovers that they did. And then it's a lot easier. Only travel 20, 30 yards for a score.
And Carter, in the backfield this year now, you get to look at all the Brutus beefcakes that are up front. 240-pound average for the guys up front. How is it running again behind that line? You saw it last year with what Gavin and Ethan and Zach got a chance to do. Now you get a chance to do it too as a starter. Running behind those guys, how big was that?
It gives me a lot of confidence because I got a big group up front, so it gives me big holes to go through. I mean, most of those times I could drive a UPS truck through those, so it's not very hard to
I like
know
that
where I'm
one.
supposed to run.
I like the UPS truck.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I mean, sometimes those linebackers would fill, but most of the time our line would do a really good job of just clearing it out and giving me an easy run.
How would you describe your style as running, Carter? Are you kind of a finesse guy, power guy? How would you describe your style?
I'd say I'm kind of more in between. I like to use my speed a lot and get around them, but most of the time I'm going to try and hit them right in the mouth, set the tone right away.
Because was it a 58-yard touchdown run? You basically outran him after you got that first got through that first line, and getting those first line when you get past the line of scrimmage, you get to the second level. You just know I just got to go to another gear.
Yeah. So Brant Mueller gave me a really good block on the outside, and so I was able to just kind of cut it around that first linebacker because he sucked up really hard because he knew that I was going to come right away. But seeing that safety right there, I knew I could just put an arm out, stiff arm in the face mask, and then run right around him.
And away you went, and it was a foot race from there.
Yep.
Senior.
Yep.
So do you feel, a little leadership now from you? Is that something you're going to take that mantle?
So I was actually elected a captain before the season started. So yeah, obviously taking up that leadership and doing what I can to lead the team and how they need it before the game and stuff like that. And then during the game, keeping their energy up and making sure that the sideline's keeping up too. Just making sure that energy is always high.
Well, and Travis, having guys like Carter and the senior class and just the veterans that you have coming off last year, how big is that? I mean, you were with the program last year, but as a head coach, having that.
It is awesome, right? We got 11 seniors, and all of them are leaders. And it's really nice that you don't have to watch them. They're out there doing their thing, and if you're taking care of whatever it is, they're going to make sure the rest of the team's doing their job. And so it is really nice to have 11 seniors out there for us.
And you hear the mentality, the next man up, and you've got a couple of guys that would be starters that are in civilian clothing right now, wearing shorts and just a uniform. But I'll say that word, they're in their civilian uniform. But it looks like because a lot of these younger guys got a chance to play a lot last year, they know, hey, now this is my chance with these two guys on the sidelines.
Yeah, they really learned last year that it's not 11 guys playing football. We need all 41 of our guys. We just had a couple guys come out this week. And so that's, success does help with that. And so they're doing a really nice job of understanding that I am going to get to play. And it's just not 1 minute to go in the game and those types of games. So it is nice. And we have to do that. We got to suffer through our attrition. We don't have 80 guys on our team to where we can have true 1s, 2s, 3s, and stuff like that. So we're switching in guys all the time. You look at Trey McPartland and Jack Dieter. They're playing all over the place, and they got to be ready to go on a snap. Carter knows he's starting, right? Trey and Jack are going, oh, I'm in now, and that's a whole different mentality, and they did a great job Friday night with that.
It was a win. Great. It was only game 1, so now a devil's advocate. Things to work on. Special teams, the extra points,
went real smooth last week, didn't
perfect.
it? I mean, I thought we could work on our fire calls. That'd be great. We had some bad snaps, and we addressed that. We lost Broden Muskie, and it's like anything else. When you have somebody that does such a good job, you forget about it, and then we had to replace him. And so it was between a couple of our guys, and we've been worked on it. We worked on it yesterday, worked on it today. We work on it daily, but put a little more point of emphasis to make sure of everything. And so our extra points should be cleared up by now. If not, I blame Carter for a lot of things, that don't go right. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
exactly.
But it is. Our special teams needs, that's really what we have to do after that first game. We were sloppy in some areas. Not horrible, not brutal, but we just got to clean those things up. Each week we got to play better and we got to improve on things. So
having a quarterback back, how big is that for you guys?
Oh, huge. It's really, it's a new offense, new language, and Bryson's done a really nice job of picking up the offense, and we're going to throw the ball a little bit more this year, and so he has done a really nice job. He puts in a lot of extra time. Him and I will sit and watch film just about every morning, just looking at some things over. So do a lot of other players come in, and we're just sitting there watching film and just, I'm picking his brain to see what he understands, and so we don't throw too much at him, and he's a sponge. He likes to soak it up, and he's doing a good job.
Watford City comes to town here on Friday night. The home opener. Carter's a senior, getting that first home game. How big is it, and how excited are you for Friday night?
I'm excited for the home crowd. The student section's always riled up, so that's always fun. Playing in front of their parents, everybody, just always a good atmosphere. Train horn, and senior announcements now, starter announcements. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
And it should be a nice night for football. And Travis, you get that chance now. You got that first home game. And Watford City, I know they're coming off a win. I think they beat Hazen here last week. So they have a little confidence coming in.
Oh, yeah. They're sound. You watch them. They are sound on defense. They don't make many mistakes on defense at all. And same with their offense. Their quarterback's a nice little runner. He can throw the ball. So we got to play well. We cannot afford to make mental mistakes out there. And if we play our game, we play aggressive, and we cut back on the mental mistakes, I think we'll be fine. But they play sound defense. There's no doubt about that.
So you got to come out, be ready for every snap.
Yes, 100%. Yep, they got to do it. And I got faith in our team. They'll do it.
Any goals set? First, I'll talk to you as a coach. Do you or staff, you guys sit down and set any goals or not?
Nothing for statistics. Really, our goals is to make sure that we try to stay healthy. That is the biggest thing. And how do you do that? You know, because you got to make sure you take starters. They got to get so many reps so they got their fluid, they're doing it. But how do you get those backups in? How do you give the guys rest? Our goal really is to make sure that we play 20, 25 guys on offense, and same with defense, and make sure when our guys go out there, our main goal is to put them in a position to have success. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Carter this past winter. I said, hey, I think I'm going to put you at defensive end. It's going to be, you're going to like it. I know it's going to help our team. And there might have been other people thought, probably a linebacker, ain't he? We got to put people in positions to have success. And that's really our ultimate goal. And so far we've done okay with that.
And as a DN, if he's got speed coming off the ball, he's going to beat that offensive lineman, and he's going to have some clear pass to the quarterback.
Yeah,
or the ball carrier.
Right, exactly. And, you know, we always, for all the years I've coached, we always said, boy, if we don't have a lot of speed or depth in the secondary, how do we help them? Well, we put speed up front. And so that's the idea is, you know, Dylan Hunt started for us last year. Does a great job coming off the edge. And he's got one of the toughest jobs out there because he's getting double teamed and nobody sees it. And Christian Butler does a great job. Scott Rohde does a great job. So our front four, if you can get penetration and you start putting pressure on the quarterback, our DBs don't have to cover him as long. I always say that the D-line makes everybody else all state, you know.
Yep.
But it can go the other way around. We can make them look pretty foolish if we're giving them 5-6 seconds to throw the ball too. And so with the speed up front we have, it just helps the linebackers and plus the defensive back.
And I think one of the turnovers, Colton Griebel coming off, I think he looked like he was blitzing
Yep.
off the end, got to the ball carrier about the same time the ball did, and turnover, there you go.
Yeah, yep, and that was, so Colton did a really nice job on that blitz. Will Schwer blitzed on the one, stripped the guy, and ran it in for a touchdown, you know. So he was competing with Carter, see who could score the most, my linebacker or my running backs. So
who won? I think you won that one. Yeah, you did get that one. Carter, I'll just ask that question again. You know, you want to improve not only game to game, but snap to snap. But do you have some goals set in your mind that what you want to accomplish in your senior year?
You know, I don't have any stats that I'm aiming after, obviously. I have a team goal mostly, is kind of just to go game to game and make sure that we're fresh every single game. Making sure we're having short-term memory every single game to make sure that we're not making those mistakes twice in a row. And making sure that when we do make that mistake, we can get back up and do better the next play, because that's the most important thing, is to have that fresh mindset every single play, to go in there and have the best chance at having success.
Well, hopefully we hear that train whistle a lot on Friday night after number 10 crosses the goal line here. But 7 o'clock kickoff against Watford City at Hannah Field. Of course, we'll have it here on the Highlander Activity Network. One down, a whole lot more to go.
Yeah.
And two, final question, Travis, is your mentality, too, as a coach, the most important game's the next one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, we were talking about it right before we walked in. I go, boy, I sure hope Paul doesn't ask me who we play next, because I can't think of who we're playing next, you know. So, yeah, it is just put every concentration on Watford City. And then Friday night, okay, we get a victory. All right, nice job, coaches. Great. See you Saturday morning, because we're worried about the next opponent.
Yep.
That's that short-term memory. Great, we did it, but we got to get to work now.
Only 4 home games this year, too, so we got to make the most of those 4.
Exactly. Yeah, and it is Parents' Night Friday.
Yep.
So,
all right, 7 o'clock kickoff, Hannah Field, as the Highlanders will take on the Wolves of Watford City, and that is the next game coming up here for the football team. Travis Sengen, Carter Board, gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and congratulations on Game 1. We'll look forward to a lot more W's here with the Highlander football team.
all right, sounds good.
That is football. We're going to step aside and wrap it up when we come back. Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. And back on Coach's Corner here in the Highlight Activity Network, wrapping up our first edition of Coach's Corner, again, as we start our third season here on the Highland Activity Network. Again, what's coming up this week? Thursday, we have got volleyball here at the Hack as they will be taking on the Wahpeton Huskies. Coverage begins with the freshmen at 4:30, and then 5:45 for the JV varsity at 7 o'clock, about 7:15 for that varsity match. And then Friday night, we were just talking about it, Highlander football, the season home opener against Watford City, 7 o'clock kickoff, and the coverage again around 6:50 here on the Highland Activity Network. And we'll be back at our normal time next Wednesday, 6 o'clock for Coach's Corner. And we are again live every Wednesday night here from the Hack from 6 to 7. And if you missed it live, no worries. You can watch it again. And just again, go to YouTube, search Highlander Activities or Highland Activity Network, and you can watch it again and again as it is archived. My thanks to our cameraman, technical director tonight, Brian Krewald, and Jaden Johnson, also part of the Highland Activity Network. We'll be back again next week. Have a good week. We'll talk to you then here on Coach's Corner on the Highland Activity Network.